Welcome back, Amibros, to Bioshock. In the last episode, we made our way through the proving grounds, arriving at the door of Fontaine. Or in this case, the elevator leading to Fontaine. In this episode, we'll finally be taking on the no-good con artist, and hopefully escaping the underwater city of Rapture. Now, if you're at all worried about what setup you have in regards to your plasmids or tonics, allow me to dissuade you of those fears because there is a gene bank located within the arena that you'll be facing Fontaine in. So if you need to quickly swap around your plasmids or tonics, you can do that. As far as what plasmids I recommend you head in with, I recommend Target Dummy, Incinerate, Winter Blast, Electrobolt, Enrage, and Telekinesis. I'll be sure to explain why in just a bit, but for right now, let's not waste any more time and head straight up to Fontaine.
I remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub. You were no more than two. You were my ace in the hole, but you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Fucking loading screen, ruining my immersion. God! But there he is. Fontaine. You've gotten quite the glow up since Point Prometheus. Did you do something with your hair? Nah, that's crazy. What am I talking about? You don't have any hair.
Go! Go now! Hit him with the needle!
Well, let's not waste any more time and plunge the needle straight into Fontaine. Well, if you insist, Fontaine, have at thee! Feel the power of my wrench, you fiend! Hiya! 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 You shall fall to my mighty wrench! Hiya! Alright, well that's enough of that. Let's discuss Fontaine's patterns. Fontaine utilizes three elements. First, he'll start out with fire, then switch to ice, and finally electricity, but all three follow the same basic pattern. He'll fire a projectile. What kind of projectile depends on the element he's using, and charge at you similar to that of a bouncer Big Daddy. With fire, he shoots a fireball. For ice, he shoots a line of ice towards you, and when he switches to electricity, he'll hurtle a ball of electricity your way, which is his most devastating move. Every time you wipe out his health, Fontaine will retreat to the same place before the fight started, giving you an opportunity to drain his atom. Don't dilly-dally though, as he won't stay there forever. You'll have to drain him 4 times, with the first one being a freebie, obviously. When he switches to ice, Fontaine will trigger the alarm, causing a swarm of security bots to emerge, so be sure to make a mad dash to the bot shutdown panel and hack them if you so wish. When he's down to his last vial of atoms, splicers will join the battle, so be sure to switch to Enrage and have the splicers dogpile Fontaine. Fontaine's attacks are fairly easy to avoid, you just have to step to the side in order to avoid them. Of course, this only applies if you're fighting him from a distance utilizing your many guns and not getting up close and personal and attacking him with a wrench like I am. But despite the urgency when you first enter the arena, there's no time limit. The fight only starts when you first plunge the needle into Fontaine. So before that, I recommend you scope around the area, as there is a health station that you can hack, as well as a gene bank to swap out your plasmids or tonics. Of course, this fight becomes an utter joke if you're utilizing electric gel, but I'm not about to do that. Well, for the whole fight anyway, because, you know, this has been building up since the death of Andrew Ryan, and I want to treat it like a big deal, you know? Even if the fight itself is kind of lame. Hey, it's fitting, I guess, considering how disappointing the last 2 levels were. Now, if you run out of medkits, E-Hypos, or certain ammunition for your guns, have no fear because you aren't dead in the water, as Little Sisters in the vents will supply you with whatever you run out of. Keep in mind, though, that this is only in increments of 1 minute or so, so don't go thinking you can abuse this. Unfortunately, I don't show this off, so apologies for that. But it is a really cool detail that I had no idea existed in this fight until I started doing research on it. Because I always figured that the Little Sisters gave you a pep talk from the vents and didn't do much else. But I was wrong. So kudos to that. Because little sisters are in this fight, they're just speaking from the vents. They're not physically in the fight. You know what I mean? But right now I'm looking for the bot shutdown panel so I can hack a security bot that'll give me a slight edge against Fontaine. I know I've been talking smack about the security bots, but in this fight they're surprisingly effective against the guy, so hey, why not? Because the moment Fontaine hits you, it disorients you, giving him an opportunity to hit you again. So being up close and personal with him isn't a strategy I wholeheartedly recommend, which is why I'm trying to go at him with the wrench. It's a mighty wrench after all, but I guess not so mighty because every time I tried to hit him from this point on, it just didn't connect for some reason. At first I thought it was because he was in his ice phase and I had frozen field equipped that it wasn't doing any damage. But the first phase, when he was using fire, I was able to connect, but after he got off the table, my wrench just wasn't connecting anymore, so maybe it was glitched? I don't know, maybe those of you watching can post a comment telling me what is happening, because I, for the life of me, have no idea what was occurring. Now you might have noticed that we have a lot of Adam, very close to 800, which is pretty damn cool. That's the most Adam we've ever had. But unfortunately, we can't spend that Atom at a Gatherer's Garden, as the Atom you siphon off from Fontaine is just there to show how much you're siphoning off of him, which is effective, but it's lame that you can't take that Atom to New Game Plus and spend it on powers and abilities that you want to give a chance. It is what it is, I suppose. But let's not waste any more time and drain that final vial of Atom from Fontaine. It's over. Ow! Okay, maybe not.
I had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now...
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live. And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Bioshock. Yeah, after you get your ending, it just cuts right to the title screen, skipping over the credits. I mean, anticlimacticness aside, there's the other reason I go out of my way to save the little sisters. That ending always makes me smile, and the creator of the game, as well as the series, Ken Levine, thinks so too, citing the best ending as the one he prefers. Funny enough, the multiple endings were a last-minute inclusion by the producers over at Irrational Games. Now, before I head into my final thoughts, there is one more thing I want to talk about regarding the final third of the game. Now, it's no secret that I've stated that the final third of the game is when Bioshock starts to lose steam. And doing some research, I came across an article by Twitter user and game designer Tom Francis discussing a different version of the game's events after you kill Andrew Ryan. It's an interesting read, and I recommend you give it a look-see if you're curious. I'll post the link in the description below. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed watching this playthrough as I did recording it. recording fuck-ups aside. Bioshock 1 is still one of my favorite games of all time, as I've demonstrated, and it's also my personal favorite in this series. Not to say 2 or Infinite are bad or inferior, they're well crafted, well, Infinite more so than 2 in my opinion, but this game left more of an impact on me than the other 2 games in the series. You know where you have a game that every time you pop it in and start playing, it's like the first time? That's me with Bioshock 1. Playing this back in 2009, 2010, a lot of the ideas and themes of the story flew over my head as I was 12 years old or 13 at the time, and I like to think I have a slightly better understanding now than I did back then. But even leaving the story aside, the game still delivers on multiple fronts. The gunplay, while not as satisfying or crunchy as you'd expect for a first person shooter, is still fun, and the wide variety of powers and abilities you can obtain lends itself well to multiple playthroughs. The non-linearity of this game also lends itself really well because playing this for the first time, I wanted to explore as much of this city as I possibly could. And by the end of it all, I was satisfied. You know, learning about the citizens of Rapture through the audio diaries, through the locales and the environments, it just lit my imagination ablaze, and it continues to do so every time I pop this game in. In summation, fantastic story until the last third, great visuals, especially for a game that came out in 2007, and an assortment of powers and weapons that suit whatever playstyle you prefer. I can't sing enough praise for this game, so all I'll say is go play it for yourself, and if you like it, be sure to give the other games in the series a try. But the Bioshock series is a fantastic series, and yes, it may have its ups and downs, but what series doesn't, you know? You can get Bioshock 1 just about anywhere these days. You can get the original on 360, PS3, and PC, or as part of the Bioshock collection for Xbox One, PS4, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. Though for the Switch version, while the portability is nice, you will need a micro SD card with a lot of memory because these games do push the system that they're designed for to their limits, and Bioshock 1 is no exception. As for the future, well, I did say at the beginning of the LP, I do plan on covering the extra stuff for this game, but that won't be for a while. It'll definitely be before I tackle Bioshock 2, though. But in the meantime, there are other games I'd like to tackle for the channel before this year is out. Speaking of which, you might be wondering what's next for the channel. Well, let's just say, things are about to get crazy.
Let's rock, baby.